You're listening to the Telltale channel. Don't forget to check me out on all social media: Patreon, Twitter, Teespring, and Etsy. All links can be found in the description or on my website, telltaleatheist.com. Hey, this is Owen. If you're comfortable, leave your first name and state at the sound of the tiny truck backing up.
Hey, my name is Roy Sharon. Rather than fighting the cult and the cult mindset, shouldn't we be looking at rationality as far as and rhetoric to prevent the sickness in the first place? Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thank you so much for that call. It is a good question. Should we be fighting the rhetoric that leads people to that in the first place? I don't believe that it's rhetoric that leads people to a cult-like mindset. I don't think it's the things that people are saying, largely. I think like when Jehovah's Witnesses rope somebody into a cult, or Jonestown, Heaven's Gate, Mormons, I think the reason largely most of the time is because they get people when they're in an emotionally vulnerable state. That's a large part of it. They try to get people who are down, or whose family member just died, or whose pet just died, or is depressed, or just lost their job. Somebody who is in an emotionally vulnerable state. They attack those people. They go after their weaknesses. And they tell them, look, there's hope. We have hope. We can offer it to you. It's not really a logical thing. Joining a cult isn't. It's an emotional thing. So I think that the tactics that I've been taking up to this point have largely been successful, but I don't think that my tactics are the only useful ones. I think that there are a lot of people out there on YouTube and elsewhere who have written books on this stuff and everything else, who also have perfectly valid tactics to try to prevent people from joining or pulling people out of the cults in the first place. I can tell you this, though. I know that I have pulled a lot of people out of cults, but I have also prevented a lot of people from joining them. Regardless of the fact that they are in an emotional state and Mormonism and Jehovah's Witnesses are exploiting that fact about them, the people will still go to the internet and just Google it real quick. Like, Google is Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormonism's worst enemy. They didn't used to have to worry about what would turn up on search engines when people searched for Jehovah's Witnesses. Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even in the 90s, they didn't have to worry about controlling the narrative on such an open and free platform like the internet. They only had to worry about what the press was saying about them largely. And they do try to control that to some extent now, what the press is saying, but their worst enemy is definitely the internet now.